Hello, Idaho friends. This is Ron. I am the president of the Idaho Freedom Foundation, and this is our second episode of Ron's Weekly Windup. Just want to give you a rundown of what's going on here at the Idaho Freedom Foundation, around Idaho in politics and in government, and what you can do to be involved. So let's get things started. Ron's Weekly Windup. I want to start out by talking about some new features on the Idaho Freedom Foundation webpage. Number one, you can go to our issues page. If you are on our main page and you see the tab that says policy, click on that, go to issues, and you can see all the major issues that Idaho Freedom Foundation works on, our position on those issues, and then a lot of the articles that we have written related to those issues as policy comes up and throughout the year and in the past years. You can see where we stand on grocery tax repeal, for instance, how we want to protect traditional Western values and families. All of those issues are covered on our Issues tab. Another thing to go and look at is our local government accountability page. On there is a map of all the Idaho counties, and you can click on each county, and you can even click on cities to get information from those cities and from those counties about information about their county commission, links to the DMV, and we will be adding to this items that come up in terms of accountability for our local government. Let me tell you this, that on our map, it's kind of a launching pad to get to a lot of those county and city sites, but it also tells you how to do a public records request. If you want to get information from your county or city on some of the business they've been doing and whatever emails they've exchanged or in the process, you as a citizen have a right to know what your government officials are up to. You can get updates from us on what's going on in the different counties, as well as news. You can scroll down on that page and click on resources. And on resources there is the opportunity for you to find out how you can provide feedback. You can also report to us any issues that you have with how that county's operating, any suspected malfeasance you've seen, or any corruption that you're suspicious of. We at the Idaho Freedom Foundation have been very good over the years at holding the legislature and the governor accountable to their actions. We've reported on their votes. We've created a freedom index and a spending index. We're very good at legislative and governor accountability. We want to expand our accountability down to the county and city levels, and this is our first step in that direction. A local government accountability page, including the map, and also I should mention school boards are part of that local government accountability that we're after. We want to make this a robust page where you can see all the reports, where you can report your own information so that we can dig into it. This takes a lot of time and resources. We're working on building this. Eventually, we want to do a local government index in terms of their freedom, their tax rates, how their governments operate. We can have a whole index that's very robust so that you can see how your county, your city, your school board compares to the other ones across the state by looking at an index. This takes time and resources, so we're always on the lookout for sponsors to help us build our local government accountability team. We already have a legislative accountability team, but this is the area that we've been asked about a lot. We want to hold our local governments accountable. For example, the city of Boise over this past year, in the past few months, is raising property taxes by nearly $15 million, $14.7 million raised in property taxes. This after giving themselves, the city council and the mayor, their own raises. And then they're going to pile on to us with property taxes. They won't even follow the law about what flags that they're allowed to fly on the city flagpoles, but then they want to raise our property taxes and do all that. Well, local government accountability page, we can report on that. We will be able to show you how your tax rates compare across the state, and we're looking forward to building that up. But the first step is there. You can see that platform, launch yourself off to those government websites. Also, you can get information from us about what we're reporting on. Another item to talk about while we're talking about taxes is grocery tax repeal. as you know, the Idaho Freedom Foundation has been fighting for repealing the grocery tax for years. It was in 2017 that it passed both the House and Senate, and that was when I was in the House, and I was proud to cast that vote. It sat on the governor's desk for 11 days. He finally vetoed it. The Supreme Court gave him a pass on the 10-day limit and said, don't do it again, but we're going to honor this veto. And so the problem was the legislature had already adjourned, so we couldn't even override the veto. Therefore, we've been stuck for the last 8 years with a grocery tax that we probably shouldn't even have. Paid over $2 billion in grocery taxes over that time period. I will be involved in a panel discussion or a debate, if you will, on tonight, actually, Wednesday night, October 8th, 6 p.m. at Twin Falls Republican Central Committee meeting. And so if you're in the area, please pop in for that. We'll see if we can get some streaming going on, or at least record it so that if you're not able to make it there, you can have access to it. But you may not know this, but grocery tax repeal is there are a group of citizens collecting signatures to get it to be on the ballot. They're doing an initiative to allow Idahoans to vote to repeal a tax that the legislature hasn't been able to accomplish. You see, because since we passed it in 2017, House leadership will not let that bill get heard. They won't even let a vote happen on it, even though it would be a supermajority, because there's one or two legislative leaders in the House who don't want the grocery tax repealed. Even though our leadership is supposedly conservative, they still won't let it to be voted on. So the people are going around the legislature. So although we at IFF are not too thrilled about the initiative process, because that is initiative processes are usually used to do bad things. Once in a while, when something like grocery tax repeal comes along, well, if we're going to have initiatives, we might as well use it for our good once in a while. So there is that. I will be speaking on it, and we can see where that goes. There's also some other initiatives being proposed to be put on the ballot. They're collecting signatures for legalizing marijuana. I think there's one on about making abortion legal in Idaho. And so you have the opportunity to look at those initiatives too. But the initiative process seems to be used more and more. I think we ought to reform it so that we actually have a representative republic at work rather than the sometimes mob mentality of direct democracy, which can get out of hand, can get very expensive too. Well, there's that on the grocery tax. Great opportunity to hear more about it and make your voice be heard by whether or not you sign on to that petition. The city of Nampa has done it again. You know, they talked about turning the Ford Idaho Center over to College of Western Idaho. Citizens rose up and spoke up and said, whoa, wait a minute, we paid for this, don't do it. So the city of Nampa said, well, we'll put it under advisory, we'll consider this, debate it, and bring it up again in a later meeting. Well, this week was the later meeting. On Monday night, they met again, and they actually voted to turn the center over to the College of Western Idaho. So an asset for the city, which was worth $100 to $150 million, is just being given away, gifted to the College of Western Idaho. So my sympathies go out to the taxpayers of Nampa who've been paying property taxes to fund that thing for years, and then to just see city council and mayor just give it away. They're not even selling it to the highest bidder and using that money to lower tax rates and mill rates. They are actually just giving it away. So that was a shocking event from the last week. Last thing in my wrap up is that the freedom movement seems to be growing in Idaho. When I was in the legislature, we had, I think, 6 of us that we could really count as liberty folks. If you look at Freedom Index scores, that bore out to be pretty much true more often than not, especially on key votes. But now there's probably more than a dozen, 15 to 20 maybe liberty folks. I went to an event last weekend, a weekend ago, in Twin Falls, and there were 450 people there to support the idea of supporting candidates for liberty in the Magic Valley. There are many candidates who are interested in getting rid of the squishes or the moderates or the big spenders, the big taxers, and there's more people I've seen than ever wanting to run. The incumbents who are for liberty are running again for sure, but there are a lot of liberty folks ready to challenge those who are not so liberty. So it's exciting to see that in the Magic Valley. I think we need to see more of that in eastern Idaho, maybe some more in western Idaho, but I am hopeful for the future. Seeing all this movement and the discussions about our government being out of control and overspending, that our government budget, our state budget, has gone up by 60% in the last 6 years. And then we have legislators trying to claim that they're for liberty and conservatism. Well, the ones who voted against those spending increases, I think, can make that claim. But that 60% increase didn't happen without the legislature's approval. So know who you're voting for, know who you're supporting, and get your copy of the Freedom Index. It's right there on idahofreedom.org. idahofreedom.org. You can get your copy of the Freedom Index. You can get your copy of the pork report that we did last fall. You can also go to the policy page and click on issues, like I said, and you can see where IFF stands on all the issues. You can also go to the local government accountability page. You can submit your reports there. You can click on resources. You can find all the links you need to city, county, and school board governments. And we're just growing. We're expanding our reach. We're expanding our effectiveness by being the accountability foundation in Idaho. So the Idaho Freedom Foundation, working for you, and I hope you enjoyed Ron's weekly windup. We'll see you again next Wednesday with what went on in this next week and what's coming up in the future. So peace out, my friends. This is President Ron of the Idaho Freedom Foundation signing off.